Peter, we're playing No Man's Sky while chatting about a question that I feel like has been all over the interweb and subreddits on the new No Man's Sky Next update. Should you start from scratch?
Well, I'm glad you asked, because we've spent the better part of the last few days checking out the new patch, everything it has to offer, and my answer is, well, that depends. So we're going to be talking about this on video if you'd rather listen to us talk, watch some gameplay. You can also read more of my thoughts below. But to get to the gist of it, I booted up the new patch on PlayStation 4 first, and that save had dozens of hours put into it, lots of money, lots of cool stuff. And I logged in and I was like, all right, it feels good to be back. I missed my ship. And then I tried to go to a planet and I was like, all right, I'm on a planet. I don't know what I want to get into. And then I started to realize oh crap, I don't recognize any of these elements.
Right.
I don't, and all of a sudden I started to just immediately doubt everything I knew. And I realized man, there is a lot to learn here. And if only there were some quests or tutorials to kind of show me the ropes.
Right. And as far as my experience was, I think perhaps an ideal one in that on that day, it was the 24th of this month of July when this update came out, the first of the 3 platforms it's on is the Xbox One, the new launch for that console for this game. And Jake and I, you would be required to start over from scratch. And that's where we got the introduction to all these new elements. And some of them are renamed, or Carbon is still around. That was from the previous game to Next. But for the most part, they're not just renamed, they're rebalanced. And you need a lot of different types of elements in order to do things like take off on your starship. Before it was just plutonium, right?
Yeah.
Now it's starship
ferrite
fuel. You need ferrite dust. No, excuse me. You need a metal slate.
Right, you need metal plate, which you make out of ferrite dust.
Right.
And ferrite dust is kind of brand new, at least because I haven't played in 2 years, right? So it was like, okay, what is this? Okay, it turns out that you get that stuff from rocks. But long story short is you don't really know much of this unless you poke around and put yourself in harm's way. In my case, because the first planet I landed on was incredibly hazardous and radioactive.
Yeah.
And so I landed on the planet, and I was like, okay, I'm going to get out of here. Oh, I don't have any fuel. How do I make... And it just became this thing of crap, I backed myself into a corner. So I didn't play an Xbox with you guys, but you guys had that learning experience. I had a save on PC that was right after getting the warp drive that I had done, I don't know, a couple weeks ago, right before we just, were waiting for the patch. And so I booted that up and started playing around with you guys. And I was still a little lost, but watching you, asking questions, I was able to figure stuff out.
Right.
Then I felt comfortable. And then you started getting your capital ship, and I'm looking at all your other ship. You and Jake have other ships. And I'm like, crap, I still have my starter one. And that's when it hit me. I really miss my old save.
Right.
But you know what? I feel ready to go back in. And then it kind of dawned on me that, the question, should you start a new save or not? The answer should just be, yeah, why the hell not? Because I don't think you have much to lose in the end. You'll always have your pre-existing save.
Yeah.
And, the question of should you start over or not, I think is, do I need to learn new stuff?
Yeah.
You can still go start a new one to learn that and then go back to your previous one. And frankly, I feel like this is a sort of game where it's about the things that you discover and the moment-to-moment experience. And especially if you're playing a new game with friends, it'll totally feel fresh and it won't feel repetitive. At least it didn't to me.
No, for sure.
So my answer is, yeah, why not just give it a try?
Give it a try. If as you said, if you have a buddy, it's fairly easy to just, what on earth? It's very easy to do the main quest line together. It's, as the previous update of this game, you spawn into a broken ship. Jake immediately spawned with his own broken ship next to mine. We were doing every step of the way together, and that was very important as far as compensating for oh man, I'm doing all the same stuff again. Now I can do it with a friend, which is huge.
Yeah. And I think the idea also, which you've brought up in a few different videos we've made, is that if you like or don't like the core gameplay, this new patch probably won't change how you feel about the game at large, because that stuff is still, the mining and the survival aspects, those are all still very central to what No Man's Sky is.
Yeah.
And I think the same thing goes for playing a new save versus one that you've developed quite a bit, because at the end of the day, you're still going to be doing the same kind of stuff. It's just really a matter of how advanced you're getting and the reward loop. And frankly, if you start from scratch, you're going to be getting that reward loop triggered a lot more often. So
yeah, definitely
worth considering.
Yeah.